My name is Daniel Firdaus Pindari with metric number 255086, and I will be presenting the topic of criticism of Rawls' theory of justice. So the theory of justice puts forth a fair method of producing distributive shares and outcomes in order to create a fair society. So the moral behind the principle and theory of justice are based on the hypothetical contract by emphasizing contract over consequences instead of using the model of actual contract like United States Constitution. So this theory uses the concept of hypothetical contract, which are more resistant to the exploitation of knowledge and bargaining powers. The theory of justice invites us to put ourselves behind the veil of ignorance. Behind the veil, we will eliminate our personal features such as gender, races, and imagine ourselves in a conscious state before we were born. This state, known as the original position, which tries to bring us closer to a position of equality. In this position also, we can ask ourselves what sort of society that we want to live into. Furthermore, Rawls says that the person in the original position would choose two principles. So the first principle is that each person is to have an equal right. And the second principle is that the social and economic inequalities are to be arranged. Now let's focus on the criticism which are raised against Rawls' conception of justice. Justice as fairness is criticized by almost all perspectives such as feminists, socialists, and many more. First, criticism by Michael Walzer. Michael Walzer struck at the very essence of Rawls' approach to justice and stated that it was undichromatic. Rawls' theory also taught the conception of theorizing about justice, which is implicit in contrarianism and the distributive paradigm. Walzer implies that justice and fairness is a theory among numerous theories of justice that makes sense in a specific culture, community, and understanding because justice is relative to social meanings. Since the members of the society in social interaction, Walzer claims that this distribution are patterned in accordance with shared conception of what the goods are and what they are for. Secondly, Walzer objects to Rawls' set of abstract primary goods. He contends that since the social goods have different meaning in social societies, one cannot constitute a universal and abstract set of primary goods and a criteria of justice that are always valid everywhere. Second, we have criticism by Winslow Lang. Lang criticized Rawls on the ground that Rawls does not realize the right of meaningful work in the Martian ideal of justice. No consumption good is equivalent to the value of meaningful work. Third, we have the criticism by Gerard L. Cohen. Cohen criticized Rawls for not proposing a consistent and sufficient egalitarian theory of justice. He drew attention to the inconsistency between expressed institutional egalitarianism and inegalitarian behavior of individuals in Rawls' theory. Cohen states that persons should lead their private life according to the principle. Further, Cohen quoted that he rejected Rawls' view that the principle of justice apply only to what he called the basic structure of society. Fourth, we have criticism by Robert Nozick. Nozick was Rawls' colleague at Harvard. Nozick objected and proposed his alternative from libertarian perspective to Rawls' theory. Nozick made a systematic and extensive criticism of justice as fairness in his work. First, he drawing the line of legitimate state. The minimal state is the extensive state that can be justified, and any more extensive violates the people's. Second, Nozick construct his entitlement theory in order to refute Rawls' theory. Although he did not suggest a full theory, but he proposed a set of principles of justice influenced by law. According to Nozick, the justice of distribution depends not on the extent to which it estimates to some profile. Furthermore, Nozick questions the possibility of emigration in Rawlsian state. Nozick makes his readers to think about a society which everyone works in line with Rawls' principles of justice against their will. 5. We have the criticism by Paul Wolff. He argues that Rawls pays so little attention to the institutional arrangement by means of which redistribution is to be carried out. Moving on to the example law, we have Article 8 of Federal Constitution which provide that every person shall be equal under the law and have equal protection of law.
Therefore, the citizen cannot be discriminated only because of their religion, races, gender, and other. There are some privileges given to certain people, such as indigenous people and Bumiputra in Malaysia, which cannot be questioned because they are protected by the Constitution. The cases that we can refer is public prosecutor against Kong Teng Ken and another. Tun Sri Fan Lord President stated that the principle underlying Article 8 is that the law must operate alike on all persons under like circumstances, not simply that it must operate alike on all persons in any circumstances. All that Article 8 guarantee is that a person in one class should be treated the same class on another person in the same class. In this case also, the judge opined that the law may classify persons, offences into different categories and none of these classifications are inconsistent with Article 8. Other than that, we have the case public prosecutor against Tengku Mahmud Iskandar, where Raja Azlan Shah Judge stated that there is only one kind of law in the country to which all citizens are amenable. Example law and cases given are related to the John Rawls principle, where it invites us to put a veil of ignorance and all persons must be equal under the law. That's all from me. Thank you.